Nah, these are back snaps. Stop doing these. Instead, let's focus on these. One of the most common mistakes in lunging is lunging with the torso straight up. This is not something that you want to do. The reason why is because you will be putting unnecessary load on your knee. How? Well, your glutes are not as active as they should be if your torso is straight up. Your glutes' main purpose is hip extension. What exactly does that mean? It means it is the primary muscle that's responsible for driving your hips forward. So if you don't have this muscle doing its job to the fullest, other muscles that should not work as hard to drive your hips forward will need to pick up the slack. Don't believe me? Pause this video and I want you to sit down in a chair with your back straight up against the back of the chair. Perfect posture. Then what I want you to do is to attempt to get up from that chair without leaning forward. In other words, try to get up from the chair with your torso completely straight up. It'll be pretty much impossible. And I would also say that you should be careful about trying to do this because it may be painful for your knee. When you do this, this is exactly what you're trying to do as you lunge with your torso straight up. Now you're probably saying, yeah, but Jeff, I do this all the time. I get up with my torso straight every single time I do lunges. And my response to that is I can guarantee you are leaning forward even just a little bit, activating those glutes, or you're pushing off the back leg, which you shouldn't be doing because it defeats the purpose of doing the lunge. So how do you fix this? Very simple. Your torso needs to be parallel to your tibia, in other words, your shin bone. This will load your glutes, preparing them to thrust your hips forward. Another common problem is leaning forward too much. The reason why this is an issue is because as you begin to stand up from the lunge, you'll be putting a lot of stress on your lower back. How? Take a look at what I'm doing here. I'm going to freeze the frame right here and I want you to pay close attention to what my back is doing and what my glutes are doing. Now at this point, my standing leg is pretty much almost straight, which means my glutes don't really have much work to do. But if you look at my back, I now have to extend my back to get my torso upright. So I essentially turned this into a back exercise. As I stated before, the fix for this is to just make sure that your torso is lined up with your shin bone. Now, the only way for you to effectively do this is to record yourself to make sure you have the proper alignment. Once you do this and you verify that your posture is correct in the video, then eventually you end up building up muscle memory and you won't need to record yourself anymore. The next one is stepping back way too far. Now, there are 3 reasons why you don't want to do this. 1, you lose power in your front leg. 2, you can't control the movement. And 3, you put strain on the hip flexors of your back leg. Instead, what you want to do is to make sure that the femur of the back leg is completely vertical. I also would like to mention that in this demonstration, my knee is touching the ground. You don't have to do this. I've seen people slam their knee into the ground, hurting themselves. You could just stop about an inch away from the ground before you continue to the next rep. So the reverse lunge is an amazing exercise for your quads. If you found that this was helpful on your knees, let me know in the description box. Like and subscribe.